Hi, Sag. We are using the SpirtSong tarot deck. We are searching for the truths that can help you all to free yourselves at a time when, as I've said to a few other signs, it seems the cage is unlocked, the secrets are unlocked, and we need only take advantage of that opportunity and make our great escape. It seems so many have themselves stuck in their own mind. You, Sagittarius, are showing up as the Three of Crystals. The Three of Coins, of Earth, of Pentacles. So we do potentially see productivity here. We see collaboration. I see that you are a busy bee, working, very interested in productivity at this time, and yet a stage of challenging growth is crossing you. Competition, competing egos, perhaps. Competitors who see your work and are viciously competing even. You have another three, the Three of Acorns, the Three of Fire. It's in reverse. That's showing up as a piece of advice. The Knight of Feathers, Knight of Air, also a piece of advice. What is keeping you trapped in this state of fierce competition, battling egos, maybe even just petty ego drama? Is the King of Shells upright, noted as harmony and integrity here. So there may be a Scorpio or Pisces, maybe Cancer, a water energy, an emotional master, who you feel you can't leave behind in this situation. Some of you want out of this collaboration that you're part of. You're doing work that you like to do, but you're not doing it the way you like to do it or with whom you like to do it. It may just be a necessary collaboration, but I think there's a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio in the mix that you don't want to leave behind, you don't want to let go of. You'd like to have that partnership, but not necessarily the entire collaboration, but they're part of that group. Or this is emotional energy, an artist's energy, a healer's energy, empathic energy that is showing up as part of you and your emotional ties to this collaboration, to the work you're doing. Makes you want to keep things harmonious, even though some other part of you would really like to leave this group. Now, it's not necessarily that you don't want to be collaborating, or even that you don't necessarily want to be collaborating with all of these individuals. That may be the case for some of you, Sag, but for others, it's just the competition that you're having to engage in. Again, the battling egos, that competitive drama. you don't think that's the direction that this group or this collaboration should head in. You're not as interested in that aspect of it. It can also be that because you're so empathetic and diplomatic and interested in keeping things harmonious, you aren't competing with your competitors to the level that you're capable of. I see that what solves the issue for you, whether you don't want to leave someone behind or you don't want to bring your full force to a competition with others, mental clarity can set you free from this. A new perspective, a new truth. And it may simply be sharing your own. Telling these competitors, telling this group, I don't think that this is, I think this competition is counterintuitive. I don't think this is productive for us. I don't think this is part of the doing the work that I love to do. I don't think I can remain part of this if this is the way that it continues to go. Now, conversely, if your sympathetic self is holding back from competing fully, it can be that a new idea is what you will wield in that competition if you allow yourself. You don't need to be as loud and as forceful as your competitors. You needn't scream or shout your ideas or your input. There may be competition within this collaborative group that you're a part of, even, and being too emotionally invested in either your competitors or your co-workers, whether it's those working alongside you or working in competition with you. Being too sympathetic to their plight may be holding you back from competing on their level, but you don't have to compete the way that they are. You're advised to compete with, again, a new idea, a new perspective, through sharing your truth. You can wield your truth in a calm manner. You needn't force it forward in order to get results. And in fact, you're advised toward taking focused action. And with this being the Knight of Air, it absolutely implies to me that if you were to try to rush forward in the same manner as those competitors, there's a potential for it to be harmful, if to no one else, at least to yourself, reckless, too rash, disrespectful in its approach even. You have 2 3s and 2 5s. There's something within the comfort of your home, or more likely community in this particular scenario that we've laid out so far, that is not in order, not as peaceful as you would like. And that might be exactly why you want to resist competing. Another reason you want to resist competing on the same level that those around you are. That might be exactly why it's time for you to speak up and mention how counterintuitive you think that is. Because it's keeping your house out of order. Now, that may be your actual home. It may, again, just be your community, just the community that is posed here in this scenario. But it's making you, it makes you feel disorganized, and frankly, just simply unhappy. It just makes you feel like you can't achieve a piece that is very central to your work. And I think you have to, in some way, in some way you'll have to communicate this truth that you believe this type of competition is counterintuitive, because it's keeping you currently from taking the next step forward. So you at least have, at the very least, have to be honest about it with yourself. And if you do choose to share it outwardly, it's one thing to take the action of competing in a different way, in a quieter, more focused way, with a fresh idea that your competitors aren't expecting. That's one thing. But the cards definitely advise you, the reading definitely advises you not to do so in an arrogant manner. Don't assume that you know better, even though the reading itself seems to say that this form of challenging the group, this form of challenging oneself through competition, this form of pushing and forcing and almost bullying growth is somewhat counterintuitive as an approach for someone like you, for a community or a household like the one that you want to be a part of. It's all relative. There may be things that you don't know about why certain individuals are pushing forward in that manner. But whether you're right or not, the message is that to move forward arrogantly undercuts your decision to try to move forward in a calmer manner, in a more mentally clear manner, and one that really elevates using your ability to come up with new, fresh ideas and perspective over your ability to war with your ego. It seems, I believe it seems like a more enlightened approach because it is. I believe that's what we're seeing here. However, again, for you to treat the others around you, whether they are your competitors or those working with you, as if you know that that's true and you feel above the fray because you realized it, to treat others with that attitude would undercut the purpose of taking that calmer, clearer, fresher attitude. You will only fuel the same ego drama that you're working and thinking and sympathizing in order to avoid. And we have to keep in mind that your challenge shows up as that king of water, that king of shells. So while you and I in the reading may, acknowledge that there is this clearer, calmer way for you to move forward that can elevate you, the reading also shows that it is that very sympathy and that very diplomacy that is holding you back, that is trapping you. Conversely, to everyone else's reading, I think that you're actually advised to work within the realm of the mind. Everyone, so many signs, maybe every sign, seem to be trapped in their mind, trapped in their mind, trapped in their mind. You're trapped in your emotions. It's not that you shouldn't be diplomatic. It's not that you shouldn't be an emotional healer or artist of some type, that you shouldn't apply that to all areas of your life. But in applying that level of diplomacy and patience and emotional maturity to competitors who only seek to wield their ego and undercut you and yours, makes your purpose there almost pointless. Almost. I'm not saying that you are not getting to a point, but to remain in those emotions with other individuals who can't exactly appreciate that approach or that attitude, it leaves you putting in a lot of effort for naught, putting in a lot of effort in vain. It doesn't look like that would shift their egoic approach at all. Whereas a fresh idea, a new perspective, a new take on how to compete in a calmer way, invites them into that mental realm then with you. They seem to be a little too egoic, a little too fierce, a little too ready to push and bully, but you, on the other side of the coin, seem too ready to roll over, too ready to agree, too ready to be diplomatic. It's not that those aren't wonderful qualities. It's just that to apply them in this situation is almost synonymous with not applying yourself to the situation. You either want to be part of it and want to be in the mix, and so then you need to find a way to be in the mix, or you don't want to be. But to stand just near the edge and to just speak on the fact that you don't really want to do it the way that they are doing it begs the question, then, why hang around then? What else could you go apply yourself to then, right? And I'm saying it all that way because the outcome of the situation is the Five of Feathers, strategy, resilience. We see you left in a mental battle, which normally would lead me to believe you're still feeling some resistance. You're still not sure about moving forward into this competition. But again, I think in this scenario, you're advised to meet these competitors and to convince your collaborative group to meet your all's competitors on a mental playing field rather than an egoic one, rather than an overly sensitive and an emotional one. I think a new strategy, along with that new clarity and perspective and a newfound resilience connected to that strategy, is exactly where you need to be left, what you need to be headed toward. And it is a challenge. This is a change. I think you are hearing a call. Renewal and enlightenment are noted here. Awakening is noted here. I think this is you realizing you have to find some way to compete in this situation or excuse yourself from it, lest your presence be wasted on individuals, other energies who can't really, again, appreciate your approach. You've got to find an approach that gets you in the game. And I think you can get your collaborative group and the egoic competitors to meet you in a mental space. You can move from an emotional space to a mental one, and they can move from an egoic space to a mental one. They won't have a choice. You come up with new ideas, new perspectives, new strategies, then they will have to as well, right? I'm not sure exactly what the competition is. Again, it looks like it's work that you love to do. But don't be arrogant, because just because they've been in a very, very egoic state, just because they may have very egoic motivations and reasons for pushing forward and ways of pushing forward, doesn't mean that they won't meet you in that space, doesn't mean they won't also come up with new clarity and foundation and a new mental foundation and new strategies. So you still don't want to go into it arrogantly. Yeah, that's what I see coming through for you, Sag. I do hope that that has helped. Again, I think you're hearing... I think you're hearing a calling, and maybe specifically a calling toward humanitarian efforts. And so for some of you, the answer to this question may be removing yourself from this group, removing yourself from this egoic competition, and taking a fresh perspective and a new strategy on how you could do very similar work or even the same type of work, but without this element of egoic competition. While others, you will find a way to participate in it, but just in a different way, in a calmer, more cerebral, practical way. So we will leave it at that, Sag, and move forward from there. I do hope it helped.